Hey, I'm Stephanie, and this is Dirty Money Talk, where I interview my favorite entrepreneurs and influencers to help release the stigma of discussing the F word, finances, baby. Let's do this.
How you introduce yourself on these?
Okay, so first of all, we got to identify what are we even doing? This is the Dirty Money Talk podcast. The reason why it's called the Dirty Money Talk is because growing up, finance talk was treated as a taboo. We don't talk about money with our guardians and stuff. That was more of grown folk business. And if you bring it up, mommy, how much money do you make? I'll slap you. We don't discuss that. That's not your business, So it was kind of forbidden in a way to discuss financial anything. There was no concept of financial literacy. They wasn't trying to teach you nothing. But what happens is we didn't learn by what they told us. We learned by watching them sometimes.
Motion detected at the stairway.
Okay, I'm gonna have But anyway, so it became the Dirty Money Talk out of the fact that it was taboo to have certain conversations growing up in certain households. I'm not saying that's not everybody's case, but for a lot of people, they ended up trying to figure out financial matters and financial literacy things on their own through trial and error. Mm-hmm. So I refer to that concept, that theory would be called struggle economics. So we learned how to get by. We learned how to put just enough on your bill to not get kicked out and get your utilities cut off. So we know that it was always a shell game of, okay, how much money we got this month and what we gonna do with it? Groceries, rent, transportation to and from work. Most of the time, you got to factor in your bus tokens, your gas money, if you're fortunate enough to have a car. So all of those type of things were how we learned to manage money. There wasn't any emphasis on credit worthiness, responsibility. Yeah. There were people breaking leases. We gonna go stay with such and such. Yeah. Oh, we moving? Yeah, we moving tonight. Tonight, when it get dark, we leaving. So it would be things like that kind of give you your blueprint for how to carry stuff. So as an adult, I've always, my thing is be who you needed when you were younger. And I needed somebody young enough, smart and savvy enough to teach me these type of things to where I wouldn't feel like I'm being lectured to, more that somebody was trying to hit me to some good shit. So that's my effort here with the Dirty Money Talk. We are going to discuss and talk about financial literacy topics that, could pertain to an individual with a small business, an individual who works for a small business or a large company. We're trying to touch on things that don't typically get talked about regularly in our community. So we're trying to bring this message home to our community about financial literacy. And we want to have a little fun with it too, because, it's not all gloom and doom. It's really not. Once you get an understanding on the rules of the game, especially here in the United States, once you learn how to play the game, then you play it. All right.
Right.
So anyway, so we're going to start off with an introduction of who we are and what we're all about. I am your host, the illustrious Stephanie Arrington. Hard stop, period. No, I am the founder and principal consultant at Precise Business Solutions. So anyway, I started Precise Accounting and Tax Solutions. It used to be my side hustle. I was employed in corporate America for X amount of years, X amount of decades, etc. I spent a lot of my professional career in nonprofit accounting, and that's, kind of where my niche would be. I have spent a lot of time advising with and working with small business clients, mostly the one-person indie operations, as I like to call solopreneurs. And I like to help them in ways like this. So I wasn't able to bring the Dirty Money Talk podcast out prior to now, but now I think it's a good time since everybody is so used to using Zoom. And, this is a primary form of communication a lot of times in business. And I think it's a good time to, reach back. So I decided to tap my homeboy over here. This is my guy for, I'm not going to tell nobody how long we've known each other, but you'll be able to tell we know each other pretty well by the end of at least today's episode. So we tend to have a lot of conversations that, don't get recorded and notes don't get taken and be some good shit. So we want to continue in that spirit of things. And I'll let Dale tell you about himself. Dale.
Well, I'm Dale Walton. I'm not an entrepreneur, but I'm in management, IT management. I've been doing IT for about 25 years. I'll be doing that to the day I die. That's just what I do. It's what I love to do. Father of two. My babies are all grown up. And even at a young age, I used to always try to teach them finances as far as managing your money, allowance, how to keep their allowance and wait and save it until they're ready to buy their toys or whatever they're trying to buy. Try to teach them that. And, hopefully I'm thinking that, a little bit of what I helped them with back then is accountable for how they are today. Both of them are very financially stable. They're doing their own thing. And the best thing of all, they don't have to keep asking daddy for money. So, I feel that some of that kind of helped them grow up. But anyway, that's me in a nutshell. I'm a risk taker. I'm a gambler, I guess you could say, which AKA is any investment you're doing. Oh, what's going on here? Any investment you're doing is a gamble. What's happening here? Steph, did you move again? Steph.
I'm here and I can see you, and I don't know what's happening when you're in, but it's perfectly
Couldn't
fine.
see? Okay, it was just a black screen with.
Oh yeah, no, you were in. You were in.
Oh, you can see me the whole time? Okay.
I can hear you, see you, everything.
I couldn't hear or see, but anyway, I'm back in there.
All right.
But that's me in a nutshell. I'm here with one of my best friends in the world. Just to talk about some financial topics, like she said, that we don't normally get out there and talk about. Or maybe we do talk about, we talk about them in a different way.
Agreed. So a lot of times you get your financial news from very, as we would call, credible sources. So I'm thinking like Wall Street Journal and all that. We got a different spin on that. We're gonna dissect the topics that we listen to and read about in the Wall Street Journal, but we just gonna call it the Black Wall Street Update, okay? Because we're gonna tell it to you like how we do. So recently, the Wall Street Journal decided to discuss the impact of the resurgence of COVID-19, the Delta variant. Now, again, that's not naturally something that you would associate with finances. However, it has a lot of different implications financially. So obviously with the perception that the original coronavirus, COVID-19, all that original stuff had gone away, people thought it was over. So they started opening things up, which is great because the restaurant economy was holding on by a thread.
Oh, yeah.
People needed, yeah, a lot of places don't exist. I was driving through Old Town the other day, and there used to be a little French chocolate and bread store on the corner of Washington Street and King Street, and it's no longer there. And it was there, I mean, at least 10 years that I was aware of. So that was different.
Well, you know what I just went by recently? And that was just over a couple of days ago, trying to watch the finals. Mm-hmm. National pastime.
Oh, wow. Gone. I mean, that is but one. Now the restaurant closures, that was one of the more obvious things. But guess what I didn't think about? And listening to their story on this, I didn't even think about it. You know who just reported some stellar second quarter earnings? Coca-Cola.
Really?
Coca-Cola had gotten hit like extremely hard during the pandemic shutdowns because you don't have people going to restaurants, you don't have people going to the movies, and that's where a lot of their product consumption took place.
Yep.
So now ain't nobody really drinking soda at home, apparently. But now that things have opened up, people are back out, they traveling again, they doing this and doing that, and so Coca-Cola's earnings went back up.
That's right.
Now that's interesting to think of in the context of the stock market itself lately has been going down. It kind of really makes you wonder, like, how much of this is, intentional market manipulation? Maybe all of it.
Well, the thing is the key is in any kind of good market investment is knowing the news before it hits the mainstream. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's what some of my issue was with the whole COVID thing in the first place is who are these companies that are benefiting from all this? Shorting stock when you know that you're about to shut stuff down and stock prices about to go down. And when you know it's about to open back up, you invest more money into it and know that the prices just like Coca-Cola, right? That's a logical thing that when the movie theaters open back up, which they just did, where, like you said, a lot of soda gets sold at the movie theaters in those public places. So as those open back up, Coca-Cola. So whoever knew that they was about to open back up, they had the first, they getting paid. They put that money already out there and they just waiting. Okay, so now let's open up. I made all my investments. Now let's open up. Stock go up and then they go sell.
Right. And it's crazy because using that particular example of Coca-Cola and the movie biz, where, there was a whole big thing about AMC stock recently,
Yep, a big push.
I was one of the people that jumped in when the price was low. I watched it shoot up, and then I was just trying to make back what I had put in, and guess what? That shit went back down. Okay, so down we go to where I'm like, I'm not gonna say X amount in the hole, but my theory is this. All right, Coca-Cola doing good. They must know they opening back up, so I'm going to hold. In fact, if it drop a little lower, I'm gonna buy some more.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but knowing what to listen to, what to look for, is about half of the battle. Usually, I can recall, like, growing up in a struggle economics household, right? That section of the news that came on about the stock market, that's when everybody started turning the channel and walking away. Everybody listened in to all the who got shot, who got killed. And I'm not saying that that's not important. However, sometimes they out here feeding you your breadcrumbs and you just not looking. You got so distracted with that first 7 minutes of weather, traffic, and, as I would call, metro section, and then by the time they get to the good stuff like this, you done tuned out because they caught your attention early on. Now that's dirty. That's dirty, but that is the game. Okay, so that's some of what we see. I also, in that same report, they followed up with a section about Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin is fueled entirely by speculation. There's no real indication. There's nothing, because Bitcoin is not a thing. You can think of it of something like gold. Like when things are going good, people put money in gold to hold it. So Bitcoin is kind of like a vessel. It's not actually a thing. It's more like, think of it as another bank account that the bank regulators don't have their hand in. So Bitcoin would allow me to, through blockchain, transfer money to you without having to go through the bank and have that fee or go through like a merchant processing thing. It allows us peer-to-peer cash transfers, which I don't understand why we can't do that anyway. I can't really say a lot about the future of Bitcoin because I don't entirely understand the past. I know when I first started learning anything about Bitcoin, it was a few years ago, I think. And at that time, this might have been like 2017 or so at this point. Maybe at the end, it was a whole lot of hubbub. And at that time, I think Bitcoin was going for like 9,000 something. It's low right now, and it's at 31,000.
Right, because it was up to 40 something at one point.
Yeah. So, but not knowing what they would call the indicators, the performance indicators, or either knowing how to do the research to kind of trend it, then you want to go through like I guess I don't want to name nobody in particular, but there are some Forex training programs that have that MLM appeal. And sometimes if you actually are really like paying attention and trying to be a student, you can pick up some tips that will apply to other types of investment, like even certain stock things. So like what is your experience with that?
Well, I mean, so yeah, Bitcoin is kind of like this I won't say a myth, right? Because it is real. People
Lord,
actually putting their real money in.
Damn, don't say a myth.
Well, because it's really made up. It's literally a made up currency, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
like Dogecoin.
That gets its value based on public perception, right? It gets its value based on public perception because it literally is made up. It's literally an electronic bit of information, right? They're supposed to be secure, right? And it's made by computers. Like computers are generating these bits, the coins. Like they're actually computer generated. So there was nothing there before. The computer generates the Bitcoin, right? And it gains value based on public perception.
Because it's already
because when you listen to it, it just sounds so funny that this thing was made up, right? This bit of information. It's a bit of electronical information.
Like a bit, like a byte.
It's the same. That's the bit in Bitcoin.
Okay.
It's the same bit, same byte. Bytes are made from bits. Okay, it takes 8 bits.
Who
to
are you
make
calling
Yeah, real close, right? But yeah, so 8 bits make up a byte. So, and bytes is just the information, right, on the computer. But anyway, so this thing is backed by public perception of its use and its value. That's where it gets its value from. There's nothing backing it. You know what I'm saying? If it crashes, everybody just loses their money. If everybody just stops using it, right? All the money is gone that was invested in it, right? So as more people dump more money into it, it gains value and accessibility. So now it's becoming its own. The value is the money that people are putting in to back it. It's getting its value based on people invested in it.
So let's say if I took everything out of all of my liquid cash accounts and I were to put them into a Bitcoin, okay? That Bitcoin could actually lose value. So if I put in X amount of dollars, say I got $100,000 in my Bitcoin, and based on public perception, I could turn around and I wouldn't be able to get my 100,000 that I put on that coin.
Absolutely, that is absolutely right. But
yeah, I see why your ass was laughing.
But when you think about it, the American dollar is the same way, right? It's based on the value because there's no more gold really backing. The amount of dollars that are out there, right? So we don't. That's why they don't let nobody in there and see how much gold is actually in there, right? Because
it's like 3 bars.
Not enough gold. You know what I'm saying? There's not enough gold to back all of the.
It's the little IOU somebody wrote. I'm sorry, we took
exactly.
It.
So we get our strength based on perception and that's how it keeps its value. But Bitcoin is never been backed by anything. No other what they call collateral.
Got it.
Right? Because technically, if the US dollar fails, we're supposed to have that gold as collateral. Right? Bitcoin has nothing.
I think somebody stole all the Easter eggs, I bet you.
But the thing is though, it can become something greater than what it is. I mean, it can become the leading currency if it keeps going the way it goes.
Does it come with magic beans?
They might add that to it. That might be another magic bean coin.
And
You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be.
Do I get a goose too?
You know how you get $1 and then you got a 50-cent piece? See, the magic bean gonna be the 50-cent piece. It's gonna be another magic bean coin. So that's coming.
Can you tell our wonderful followers about tell us about blockchain technology, because that's really supposed to be like this is supposed to give everybody confidence in the Bitcoin and that type of currency, because everybody's, well, it's the blockchain technology that really makes it, whatever. So what do you think about that from a tech point of view?
Well, blockchain from a technical point of view, right? Is just the security of the Bitcoin, right? It's just basically saying how secure this bit of information, because that's all it is a bit of information. A coin is a bit of information, computer information, random generic code, right? And the blockchain is just basically about the security of that information. Like I said, it's computer generated information. That's it. There's no physical coin that ever gets made or ever hits your hand. It's all completely digital.
And that's crazy. So there's not a physical thing. So they give you your
can't pay Bitcoin code in cash. Ever.
You gotta have your code and you gotta have your password, and you need to put it on some type of thumb drive and all this. Do you have any Bitcoin?
So let's talk about that, right? Getting into Bitcoin is not easy. Okay, it's not as easy as they try to make it out to be. People say, "Oh yeah, I just want to buy 1,000 Bitcoin." Okay, so you don't just get Bitcoin from everywhere, right? Because there are people who are actually the holders of Bitcoin, right? And
how
you
they
have
hold
to be
it?
Authorized because they created it. They're the ones who created it, and they're the ones that holds it.
Your mic is going out. Your mic is going out.
Okay.
He just like
so the what was I saying? Oh, so first of all, you got to get into a blockchain account, right? So you go into and I forgot what the name of it is right now. Coinbase. There you go. Thank you, my co-host. So you got to go into Coinbase, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you go to Coinbase, you don't have access to all the other coins. You only have like 3. Like, well, let me not say only 3 now because I haven't been in a while. It might be more now. But first, when I got into Bitcoin, there's 3. You had Bitcoin, Ethereum, and what's the other one? Shoot. It's the third one. It's the third leading coin, blockchain coin that they got right now. So if you want to do any other type of coin, aka Walton Coin, remember I told you about that?
Mm-hmm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Which did terrible, by the way. That was a terrible investment.
I'm sure it wasn't your fault.
It just wasn't. It once again, based on perception and what you thought it was going to do and what they said it was going to do, it didn't do it, right? Because the main reason me getting behind that was because it was supposed to be used by Alibaba as one of its main ways to transfer currency. You know what I'm saying? And they were going to take Walton Coin at Alibaba.
So kind of like how eBay was only taking PayPal for a while.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Or you see some places like, you can go to the Mav game and you can buy memorabilia with Bitcoin. So as that happens and it goes past. But anyway, so let me get back to getting into Bitcoin.
Right, you took us all down the tech rabbit hole.
You know how we do in our tangents. You know how tangents go. So now you're in Coinbase, right? Now you have to secure your Bitcoin because your Bitcoin that you're on Coinbase is not secure. Okay, it is not secure.
Wait. What you mean it's not secure? You mean my little password is not gonna work?
That means that just like your email account, it can be hacked.
Oh shit.
Okay, and what you have to do to protect your Bitcoin money is put in what's called a digital wallet. So here we go. Another digital thing that does not exist, is not physical. It's all computer. You have to put it what's called a digital wallet. You transfer your Bitcoin into this digital wallet, Now that's only if you're doing Bitcoin. Like I said, if you want to do something like Walton Coin, you have to go to a transfer to a whole nother Coinbase to get Walton Coin, and then put your money into a digital wallet. But check this out, and this is what a lot of people got in trouble with Bitcoin. So when you make this digital wallet, once again, it's all digital. You get a digital key to that wallet to get into it, so you can access that Bitcoin that you put.
How do they send that? Like, do they send that via email? Do somebody come to your house with a vial? I mean,
email you a code. You get a code emailed to you.
So if somebody hack your email and get your Bitcoin password, and they could potentially have the keys to the kingdom.
Well, yes, but you have to put something in there because, well, put it this way: if you don't have that, and you gotta actually have, it's not a code like that you type in, right? You have to have this key on your computer in order to access that account. It has to read.
So that's like, so it's like when you order some software online and then they send you like this big long string of characters, and then you have to download that, and then it opens up your file.
It's kind of like that, but you physically have to have that particular code on your computer. It's not that you just using it to put it in and put it. That code has to be on your computer, right? For you to have security to get into that wallet. That's what people got in trouble with Bitcoin, and they said that, you know, there's millions lost out there in Bitcoin because they lost that key. If you don't have that key, there's no way to get into your account. Zero, right? So once you get this key, you have to save it multiple places, and you have to remember where you saved it, because if that computer dies, that hard drive dies, whatever had died, you put it on your phone, it's gone. It's gone forever. You can't get. They're not going to send you another.
So you can't get your money out of the Bitcoin. So if I put my whole 100,000 in there,
there are millions of sitting out there in Bitcoin that people
can't retrieve.
You cannot get it back because they don't have their key. They lost the key. They forgot about it. They put it on their machine, their computer. The hard drive died, and instead of trying to retrieve the key off it that they remember they put on it, they threw the computer away, and now it's gone. So is the rest of their Bitcoin, access to their digital wallet. So it's not as easy as it make it seem as getting it to Bitcoin.
Make it seem. Audience listeners, please, whenever you hear someone use the words "make it seem," if he's telling you that they're trying to make it seem, automatically think Steven Spielberg. They're trying to produce some production to get a response out of you, a certain outcome. All right, go ahead.
So beware, even just getting in there.
You're going out.
You got to keep up with it. You got to keep track of that little digital key. Make sure that if you're going to move computers or you're going to change phones, because I had put one on my phone when I had got mine. And if you change phones, it's a physical key on your phone. You got to make sure you transfer that key. You got to keep that key somewhere. And only place I got right now, that key right now is on a backup hard drive. Out of all the devices I saved it on 2 laptops, a desktop.
Oh, okay, and where'd you put that hard drive at? Oh, you weren't gonna tell me that part. Oh, okay.
It's in the back cave. Okay, nobody knows what the back cave is. Okay,
I tried, y'all. I tried.
Yeah, we ain't putting that out to the public. But yeah, so that's the only place I got my data right now. That one access to key. So now I gotta remember. Just now, I'm saying it right now. Now I gotta save that all to my new devices.
See, look at us helping him. I'm here for you, friend.
So that's a proper reminder for me to do that.
Good, and put that on your calendar, because you know you're gonna forget after you get off the call. So
yeah, but buyer beware when you go into that. And then let's talk about the volatility of Bitcoin. You know, your $1,000 that you put in there could be 20 tomorrow, very easily. It's super volatile, but that's what makes it exciting at the same time. You know, you can literally put in $1,000 tonight and be a $500,000 2 days from now. And
also in reverse, you could be a negative $500,000 also. If that, well, maybe that's not possible. I just made that up, but
I just wish I got in it when it was $2 a coin. That's all I'm saying.
Same.
Back in 2014.
So here's one more report from the Black Wall Street updates. We're going to discuss Amazon owner, founder Jeff Bezos. This guy. All right, so he's had quite a week. We know that he shot off into outer space in his phallic rocket.
It is a huge pissing contest. I mean, basically, he used his tax savings to go to space. I mean, because Amazon paid zero in taxes.
You already know.
So how many hundreds of millions of dollars was that for Amazon to save if you pay zero in taxes? You didn't even really go into space. You went near space. Okay, you went.
So he was like around the corner from Mars, or no? Not even.
No, around the corner from Mars. No, he's like when black people say they up the street. They ain't really up the street.
Oh, you ain't even left yet. Okay.
You ain't even close. You ain't jumped in the shower yet. Okay. So he just looked at space through a window. He wasn't even there.
Hello.
That much money just to get there and look at it through a window? You got to be kidding.
And unfortunately, no, we're not kidding you, because that's actually what's happening right now. I think that'll do it for the Black Wall Street update this week. So in terms of our meat and potatoes topic, what do you have? Do you have any suggestions? I don't want to just be running all over you.
Well, I did have one little suggestion. Like, I just wanted to talk a little bit about like how, the cash. We're speaking of doing things electronic and Bitcoin. How everything is just all electronic now. Like, we don't use cash anymore. There's no more cash. Everything's Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, everything's electronic now. It's like there's no more you taking your phone now, you're swiping it by something electronic and everything's transferred. Like what's happening to cash? Like that, I'm about to. It's almost like we're about to go through, and the physical dollar, is not going to mean anything. It's going to be absolutely worthless.
The fiat money is almost dead, and it's crazy because this actually brings us right back to the topic that we started with, which is COVID-19 ushered all of this in, because at that point, we were informed that there's a coin shortage in the United States. So a lot of people was like, use your card. We don't have no coins. Second, everything is contactless. So contactless delivery, contactless. They don't want to touch your hand.
Pay online,
They don't want to pay online.
Put your tip online too.
Tip online, everything. The waiters now be like, you can send a tip to my Cash App.
You're right. They got apps now at the store.
It's a whole everything. I'm actually here for it. Like when the technology was introduced a few years, not even a few, of several years back at this point, that would allow you to use your phone and just tap it. I was like, no, because what if I walk through the store and I don't buy nothing? What if somebody link up and I end up buying their groceries? So I was thinking like that, but now I'm like,
it becomes more acceptable. And I was a little bit late to the party to adapt to all of it. I mean, I used to have PayPal, but that was it. I was one of the last people to get on Cash App and Zelle and all the other ones. I was just about that PayPal.
You ain't got no Venmo?
I do have Venmo. I have Venmo too, but it took a while. But it took a while to get there. You know what I'm saying? Because it was already bad enough that the hackers were hacking into your bank account, right? And the more avenues that you give them, the easier you make it for them to have access to your funds. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. What you're doing is every time you open up one of these new accounts, you're opening up a new door to your house. Let's call your where your funds at, your electronic funds, your house, right? So every time you open up one of these accounts, you're opening up a new door. That's basically what you're doing. And so, you already got your debit card that people can scan by it, get the numbers and start using it, right? So now in that place, you have to have a wallet that's like this.
It disappeared.
See that?
Oh yeah, I can see it.
That blocks the scan,
the technology. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So
that's
for all
crazy.
these little things, you got to have a technology blocker too.
Mhm.
You know, if you have the Cash App, you know, directly on your phone. Well, a lot of I see what they're doing with technology now is that they're trying to add fingerprints. They're trying to add more stuff to the
Yeah, a lot of biometric stuff.
right. But I mean, let's say somebody kidnapped you or something.
Mm-hmm.
They got your
Cut your
finger.
damn hand off.
They cut your finger off. You're done. Okay. They get that finger. They in your phone. Then they in your Cash App, and they hitting that button. They using that thumb to hit as much cash as they want
They
to
using
transfer
your
where they
dead
go.
ass thumb.
Yo, dead cold ass thumb to just push all them buttons on that Cash App until that joint said, nope, you don't have no more funds. You know. So like I said, you just adding the doors. So I'm always a little bit cautious about how many doors I want to add to my little financial home.
Okay.
You know.
Hey, that's understood.
Yeah. So I really want to. You know, it's like I'm trying to hold myself back from the convenience of electronic funds.
So many people are just going into the convenience of it because
convenient.
That's the
I'm
whole
not gonna
purpose
lie.
of it. Is convenient.
It's so convenient. I mean,
It's so convenient.
when you ain't gotta take no cash out or nothing, you just swipe your phone. Okay. Oh, you want a tip? Here you go. All right, there you go. You good. When I could go and get Uber, you know what I'm saying? They here in 3 minutes, and I done paid for it already just by hitting some buttons on my phone.
And
I
then
didn't
just
even
get
get
in.
up. I didn't even reach in my pocket. You know, even getting into my car now, I ain't gotta take my key out my car, out my pocket. I just hit a button. I'm in the car. Hit a button, start the car. You know,
and just go. And I think it's funny because we're both kids of the early '80s. Okay, we are not millennials. I do want to be clear on that. I know we look young, but we are not. We're not actually millennials. So to think that you have self-driving cars, I'm like, oh shoot, man, it's Kit. It's Knight Rider. Oh my God, you can really do that type of stuff now. All of the things that we
got a car that went over 2 million miles by itself, 2 million miles, and has not had an accident.
That's better than a lot of people that we know personally. So there's that. I'm excited to see it. I think that we are truly that bridge generation where we know how to use a rotary dial phone, and we also know very well how to use contactless payment technology. So it's kind of like, I think that we come from a time when a lot of people wanted to cash their check and touch it and feel the money and separate it. I had a lot of interesting interviews when I was first planning to do Dirty Money Talk podcast, and we started with a lot of basic interview questions. So a lot of things that I focused on were like, what were people's earliest recollections of money? And there were a lot of people who indicated, hey, my mom would get paid. She'd break it down. It'd be a stack over here for this bill. It'd be a stack over here for groceries. But that showed them
cash out there.
Cash. You might have a little envelope for your gas money this week. You got an envelope for your whatever payments you need to make. And it was important to touch and hold the money. These days, it is not as important to touch and hold the money versus being able to see that you have money in the account. And we are relying on, once again, the banks.
Trusting.
We need their account to be right.
Look, we trusting that number that we see, there ain't nothing but some numbers is correct. We actually have that money.
Yes.
I mean, ain't that what Bernie Madoff got in trouble for?
Oh my God.
He was putting numbers on a piece of paper and telling people, yeah, this is how much money you got in this account. Yeah, it's going up 20% per quarter. You're good.
Once again, value being based on perception. Are you noticing a theme in today's conversation? And we ain't even planning this, y'all.
Didn't plan it at all.
That's how it usually goes. That's just how we do. That's how we do. So I did want to give a couple of tips. Again, I do work with a lot of small businesses, and as you guys know, we're coming to the end of July, so we're about halfway through the third quarter. A lot of companies still have not, prepared their 2020 business taxes. They may be running behind on filing annual reports. Some of the things that we'll kind of, try to keep you guys up to date are like, things like filing deadlines. And you can find a lot of that information on our social media. Presently, we're operating through Precise ACC Tax on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. That's Precise, PRECISE ACC Tax on IG, Facebook, and Twitter. Coming soon, we will have a Dirty Money Talk group on Facebook where you guys can reach out and talk to us directly because we know you want to. We do. We know this.
Dirty money.
Okay. So, do we have any tips and hacks this week for anything personal or business related? What else can we talk about?
Tips and hacks. I mean, I think we kind of put a good little base of financial stuff for the first episode.
Well, let me interview you then. I'm going to interview you. I'm going to interview you.
Sure. Let's go for it.
Just to give y'all a slice and a sample of how I do what I do. Okay. So basically any decision making when it comes to money is all psychological. Okay. So I'm going to test that by interviewing my co-host. Damn. All right. The first question, as I alluded to a minute ago, first question, what is your earliest recollection of money? What's your earliest money memory?
My earliest remembrance of money was back when I was about like maybe 5 or 6 years old, right? And my mom, you know, she was pretty good on the financial front as far as keeping me aware of money, even young. And I think that's why I transferred that to my children. But you know, she started me off with allowance, right? And even though it was only like $4 or $5, I think it was like, back then, you know, I didn't have nothing to spend it on. So $4 was great to me. And I had a little piggy bank that was shaped like a pig. It was shaped like a bunny. It was shaped like a bunny rabbit.
So you had a bunny bank.
I had a bunny bank. Me and my brother had a bunny bank. And my older brother, 6 years older than me, we had bunny bank, and I would take that $3 or $4 or $2 or whatever, and I'll put it in that bank. And she told me, save it, and when you want to buy something, you go to your bank and you get the money out and you can buy it, right? And that was amazing to me because think about it, back then I was almost like toy rich, you know what I'm saying, as a little kid, because you know, she would give me this $2 or $3 and I had nothing to spend it on, right? I wasn't buying food. I wasn't buying anything. So that little, you know, every 2 weeks or every week, whatever she was giving me, that thing stacked up. And I ended up with like about $30 after a couple months or so, you know, a couple, 3, 4, 5 months, which was nothing to me, you know, back when you're a kid. 3, 4, 5 months is nothing, right? That just flies by.
Fast. Yeah.
You know, I ended up with about $30 and that, you know, I'm balling at 6 with $30. I'm balling, you know. Yeah. I go to the toy aisle. I'm like, what can I buy? I'm buying this whole aisle, you know, with $30. And so, you know, that was my first concept of trying to save money to obtain something. You know, you think about it now on a more adult scale, you know, you try to save money so you buy a house, save money so you have down payment on a car, save money so you can go on a trip, you know, vacation. And, you know, that was my first time remembering saving up money so I could get something. You know, back then it was only toys. You know, that's all I had. I didn't think about nothing but toys. It was TV and toys. That's it. Okay. Right? So, you know, that was my first time remembering actually having $1 of my own.
Okay. So you kind of jumped ahead to my second question, which was, what did your parents teach you about money? So one lesson I hear is saving.
Saving, you know, money is valuable. It's I want to say I'm loosey-goosey with money right now, but I will risk money to obtain more money, right? And I think that's important if you're going to be any kind of entrepreneur, any kind of advance. There's nobody I feel that's been like extremely successful without risking some money to make more money. I mean, that's just economics 101, right? So She taught me the value of money, you know.
Another thing I remember, you and I had talked before about this, and you mentioned that sometimes she might loan you some money if you were short.
Oh yeah, she would loan me money. It was a loan. Moms did not give me money. She loaned me money, right? And so when she loaned me money, she would write it down on a piece of paper, right? And she would take off whatever I paid her back off of that piece of paper.
Sound like blockchain, but go ahead.
Yeah, it was on a piece of paper. It wasn't real, okay? It was just that piece of paper. But she would write down a piece of paper, and as I gave her $4, $5, whatever, she would take it off and do the math right in front of me and say, now you owe me $8, or now you owe me $6, and now you owe me $1. And so I paid that money back, you know? So, you know, there was, and then maybe that's why I'm like the way I am. I don't owe anybody any money, you know? I got very little debt.
Yeah, you big on that.
I don't want to owe anybody money. If I owe somebody some money, I'm damn sure gonna pay them back. You know, I can't say that about everybody. People owe me money right now. You watching this? You know,
don't act like you forgot. I call the shots like blah, blah, blah.
Don't forget about no money, okay? You owe me $2. I got you. It's in the back of my head. Yeah, I still say hi.
We're not naming names on this episode, right? Okay. All right. No, don't do that.
We're gonna leave that in. I might throw one
put it in the comments. But
yeah,
we're gonna put it in the comments.
You just see a random name pop up in the comments. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was my that's what she mainly taught me, just the value and sometimes I'll make a mistake, you know. And at this time, like I'm older, right? And this went all the way into my teenage years, right? Oh. So I'll make a mistake and I'll do something like I'll run up a phone bill, right? Talking on the chat line too long.
Not the chat line.
And I'll run up the phone bill. She'll find out, see it, write it down. Here you go. So I won't get allowance until my allowance paid off that phone bill.
There you go.
You know. And like I said, I think that's probably the reason why I'm so responsible with money now. You know, I try to be very responsible with money. You know, by the way, my credit is 780 now. Bam! That joint went crazy. It's going
You're
crazy.
You're going to drop that on me like that? You could have told me that in the chat. You going to tell me that? Oh, my God. My brother. My brother, yes.
I'm trying to hit that 800. It's coming.
Now that's a dirty money talk first. Y'all heard it here first. This is exclusive, okay? This is exclusive, serious stuff. Now,
so yeah, but that's
all right. So we got 2 more questions to go. Yep. I keep my interviews kind of simple. The next question, which maybe we danced on this a little bit, maybe not. What was your biggest money mishap when you just rolled the dice and lost it all? If ever, maybe not, but what was the worst thing you ever did money wise?
Year to date, we're just talking about a bad investment, right? I caught myself back in 2014 getting ahead of the weed game, all right?
Do you mean cannabis, sir?
I'm talking about cannabis, good old cannabis. I tried to have the foresight that I had with computers, right? You know, back in the mid 90s, I just knew that computers was going to be the shizzle, right? You know, even with the Tandy Commodore 64, you know,
Commodore, damn.
Commodore 64, right?
Compact.
Back then, I knew this is what I need to do because these things right here going to take over the world. Everything's going to be on the computer, right? Even though I didn't believe in the internet, I thought the internet was going to be completely bogus. So let me tell you, I was wrong about that, ladies and gentlemen. It is everything that they said it's going to be.
Another exclusive, okay?
The internet is everything that they said it was going to be, and I'm aging myself, in the 90s, okay? In the 90s, they were talking about how this thing was going, you're going to be buying things through it, you're going to do everything, it's going to be in every home. And I was like, yeah, right. I was wrong. The internet is everything they said it's going to be and more. Okay, you can't live without the internet right now. You just can't. It's almost like not having electricity. Okay, you gotta have the internet. So, there go another tangent. So what was the question again? I don't forgot the question, Stephanie.
Okay, so we were waiting patiently to find out what was your biggest money.
Oh, so look, so
I know
the
you
weed
didn't
thing. I did get started on that. So the weed thing, right? I thought just like computers, I was gonna get in front of it before it got legalized because
like Bitcoin.
Well, Bitcoin wasn't illegal. See, weed was.
It's not illegal, but in some places they don't accept.
Yeah, some places don't accept. But weed was legal, but I knew it was big. I mean, we knew, you know, personally, I ain't trying to put the business out there, but we know how weed does in the streets. I'm just saying, you got that hood side of stuff. You know, you can't deny the hood stuff.
I'm so sorry. We're having technical difficulties. Security.
So we all know that weed was big in the streets, right? We knew everybody. Somebody knows somebody that smoked. I'm not saying you smoke. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm not saying you smoke.
I don't know this guy.
I'm just saying you know somebody that knows somebody that smokes. Okay, so we all knew that. So I just knew it was gonna be big. Oh, this weed was gonna become legal. Yeah, so I speculated that it was gonna become legal, right? That they were gonna legalize it. And as soon as they hit Colorado, I was like, yeah, I'm jumping in. So I put about.
Oh yeah, that was a while back.
That was a while back. So I put in about my total investment. And I ain't saying like it's not huge. I'm talking about like it was between $1,800 and $2,200.
Okay.
Total. Off through various marijuana stocks. So that was either stocks that were directly related to marijuana, where they were actually be growing, or something related to the growth of marijuana. So two things were big things that I invested in. One was called EERB, which was going to be marijuana herb. Just marketing at its finest. It was herb. So it was supposed to be weed vending machines. Okay. It was a manufacturer of weed vending machines where you're gonna be able to go up to the weed machine, put your money in like a Coca-Cola. Okay, it come out with your bag of weed or your box of weed or your jar of weed, whatever it was. It come down at the bottom and you take it and go.
Do it come with papers and matches and stuff?
Oh, I don't know about that. I think it's just the weed. You're gonna have to get your papers and store, you know, go hollow out a black and mild. Okay, I'm getting too far. But so it was that. So, you know, I was like, yeah, oh, that's gonna be crazy. That died. Okay. And then the next one was, you ready? It was called the EC2000. This thing on paper. And this is where I learned about pumping and dumping in stock markets, right?
Is that MC Hammer? Oh no, that's pumps and a bump. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. This is
pumps and a bump.
A cross between MC Hammer and Andre 2000. It's the EC2000. Okay. This was going to be the weed irrigation technology, right? It was a technology where you grow your weed, and it was supposed to be an app on your phone that you can actually go into and see your weed growing, right? And if you felt like it needed more water, you could press a button and it'll start irrigating your weed.
Why do this sound like gigapets?
Well, it's
do you know what a gigapet is? Do you remember?
No, you know what this is like? You know what this is like? This is like everybody got a camera at the house, like a Ring doorbell. Okay. Sure. You see how you know how you get your doorbell? You can see your camera, you can see the front.
Not like you can sponsor a child in another country for $3 a month.
Not for not for $2.18. No, you can't. Not $2.18 a month. But it's like the Ring doorbell where you can go on your phone and look and see who's at the front door. Only in this case, your front door is a field of weed or a building with weed in it.
Oh, like behind you?
Yeah. Hold on. I thought I put the background. Oh, it is up there. But those different kind of trees. So the you know, you can see your weed. You can add light, so you can turn the light up if you needed more light. It was just a way to monitor your weed and irrigate it and grow it. You know what I'm saying? To perfection.
And light a candle.
So it'll monitor it. You can see when it's ready to process. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so you wasn't going to sing that Teddy Pendergrass right there? Well, turn off the lights and light a candle.
Or turn them up.
And some incense. Turn them off.
So it sounded good, right? It sounded great. I was like, yeah, give me that stock.
Yeah.
And it was a penny stock. Penny stocks. That's what I was doing. I was doing the weed penny stocks. And they were all trash. I ended up losing all the money on that. It just there was 1 week where they blew up, and I thought it was the beginning. I thought I was about to be a Bitcoin millionaire. Okay. It blew up. The stock started rising. It was just going, all of them were going up. I was up, I don't know, my stock at that point was worth like about that 2,200 was almost about like $6,000 at that point.
Oh man, you should
and I thought I should have jumped out, but I thought, oh no, this is just the start. Oh, this just the beginning. Because
your risk tolerance is crazy.
Oh, that's about to be $1 million, dog. Nah, not quite. And I learned a valuable lesson. Okay. When you do make some money in the stock market, you got to set these things called limits, right? Where you can go in there and
buy and sell limits.
If it jumps down, and sell limits. Right. You can put them limits in there, and if that stock comes below this limit, your computer will automatically sell it. And you just take
get me out of there
right there. You know what I'm saying? On the way down. If it hits that thing on the way down, your computer automatically sells it. Valuable lesson. And I could have had some money. I could have made some money off of that, but I didn't. Instead, I wrote it down to zero. I wrote it all the way down to zero.
Yeah. And beyond, or just down to zero?
And beyond. That money's gone. Ain't no coming back on that. It's dead. I can't pull no money out of the I ain't got enough to get a transaction fee. The transaction fee on TD Ameritrade is $10. I ain't got $10 in that thing right now.
So you actually look, we've been hanging together for so long, you actually got ahead to my next question, last question, which was, what would you tell your 21-year-old self about money? 21-year-old, fresh face to the world.
You got to remember, I was a little bit more mature than the average 21-year-old. You know,
right.
I was married.
All right, let's go back to 16. What would you tell 18? What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Okay, my 18-year-old self.
Because you was a grown-ass man at 21, I do recall.
You know what I'm saying? I had college funds for the kids. I had insurance. Well, okay, we back to the 16. We back to the 16-year-old.
No, 18. Come on, 16. You play too much. I remember 16.
I did play way too much at 16. Way too much. I would probably slap myself silly at 16. Look, Kendra gonna cheat on you. Okay, no, that's okay. That's an old pain. That's an old pain.
I said put that in the comments.
That's an old painful memory. I ain't gonna bring that up.
This is not a relationship show, goddammit. We talk finance.
Hey, love and money goes hand in hand. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to have one without the other.
For you.
It's very, very hard to have one without the other. But my 18-year-old self, I would say, first of all, now this is me knowing everything that's going to happen to me, right? I would say, don't get married until you graduate college. Mm-hmm. I'll tell myself, don't get married till you graduate college, which I got married in the middle of college. Bad mistake. Don't do that. And
money wise, come on.
And start saving now. Like right now, I'm in a little catch-up phase. I'm in a little catch-up mode. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm kind of behind. So I'm saving extra to catch up. Right.
Okay.
And if I started doing that back then, I would have been in a very, 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 very good position right now.
Very, very. Mm-hmm.
Very, very good position right now. And I would have, and also I would have told myself, my 18-year-old self, right, to take that, because at that time I had about $20,000 from my pops passing away. I would have told myself, put all 20,000 of it in gold.
Okay. That don't sound very risky though.
No, it's not risky. It's safe. It's very safe. Because what I did when I was young, and which is why I'm behind, by the way, a little bit, is I thought about that, speaking of risk, when I was doing my savings, because like I said, even at 21, I had an IRA account, right? And my IRA account.
To see your driver's license, because I don't know that people was doing that at our age. Are you really the age you told me?
I told you I was a little bit more mature than the average 21 year. I was a little bit old. I had an old soul. And I had my moms. You know, my mom's
That's
just,
right.
you know, mom's just telling me about
financially
money.
literate.
Right? Yeah, mom's just telling me about money and what I need to do and keep straight, right? So I had an IRA account, but I said my joint is aggressive. All right. And that's the gambler in me. Remember, I was telling you about I would take risks. So, but I put mine as aggressive. And what had happened is, what it made me do is not make any money. Okay. Because really, only money that thing was growing was the money that I was putting in it. That's right. And then I actually lost more money than what I put in. Right. Okay. So that was not good. And I would have told myself, hey, if you're going to do this IRA account, don't do it aggressive. Keep that joint steady and let it be steady Eddie for 20 years. And I'd have been a lot better position than that too.
Okay. Well, let me give you my recap. I'm gonna tell you everything I heard. Let me tell you what I know about you. Okay. Because you had a good foundation, meaning you had an introduction to savings, money management, credit worthiness, credit building. All of these things were instilled in you before you left elementary school. And it's because of that financial foundation that your worst mishap was about $2,000. Now, relatively speaking, that could have been so much worse. But had you not had the basics, you would have potentially gone a different route. And then you would not have been able to pass on that generational education of teaching your daughters the value of money, credit worthiness, loans, risk. You covered a lot of the key components of financial literacy, all within the confines of your childhood home and your family's home. When you decided to make a family for yourself, as you were saying, you had all the anchors in place. So you had a retirement account, even though you were unsure about how to fund that and how hard to go. You know, he's a little bit cognizant, but you know how you
aggressive, do. Everything aggressive.
He's an Aries, y'all. So he went. That's the way he liked to play. But you still were able to anchor yourself. You have had a stable residence, over time, and that also helps your children in that they don't ever feel like they don't have a safety net, and that's important. And that's something that you don't commonly see in the struggle economic model. Okay, so I would gladly bore you another time with my interviews. In fact, next time you can interview me with those questions and we'll see some contrast. Okay.
Okay. Absolutely. Sounds good.
We're going to work on some transparency. Because see, that's where the growth is. See, when you hear, oh, then you like, I can do it. And you can do it. Again, we are striving for these high 700 credit scores, and we'll talk more about leveraging your credit and cash flow management next time. So we'll be back next week, same time. We'll be back to discuss our Black Wall Street updates, and then we're gonna get into the real deal of the dirty money talk. All right. On behalf of my esteemed colleague Dale Walton, I'm Stephanie Arrington.
Grab some trees right now.
Papers not included.
This is my investment right here.
bring your own lighter next week.
Put a fire emoji. I didn't put this shit on fire. Put all these trees on fire. And that's what happened to my investment.
And we also gonna I'm toying with the idea of another segment that we're going to include called The Gist. That's GYST
What?
as in the gist.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna give y'all the gist.
Sounded like something
and
else, but
GYST is get your shit together. So we'll be back next week with more Dirty Money Talk, sponsored by our friends at Precise. I'm Stephanie Arrington on behalf of Dale Walton, this guy, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for watching. Dale, you out?
yeah.